Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, today was a busy day. I had another day off from work. I took 2 days off. I'm at my max vacation time, so I have to burn some vacation time. And taking a Thursday and Friday off, making it a 4-day weekend is not one of the worst things somebody can do in this world. Today was a drive in the Mazda convertible. I drove from our place over to Los Gatos, taking, for those familiar with the area, Highway 84 to Skyline Highway 35. For those not familiar with the area, driving curvy roads, canyon roads through redwoods and pine trees, and then down curvy mountain roads into a very nice affluent area in the Bay Area in the form of Saratoga and then to Los Gatos. Picked up some cupcakes and some lunch for Michelle, or dinner as the case may be, and then slogged home in traffic because even though it was like 2:30 in the afternoon, the commute was already in full force. But it was a beautiful day to have the top down. It was in the mid 70s, upper 70s. I was in the shade for most of it while driving with the top down. I can have the air conditioning on. It was a glorious day. It took 4 hours, 5 hours for what would normally be a 2-hour round trip, but that's all right. Life is worth living. So I went and lived it. What did I miss? Oh, all sorts of court stuff with the Trump trial. I will read on Michael Cohen probably this weekend. I will read on that one. I'll have that up by Sunday or Monday morning, but most likely on Sunday-ish. Just depends on when it gets recorded. High level, the judge told the prosecutors, please tell him to stop tweeting and taunting Trump. And the prosecutor said, we have been telling him that. And the judge says, please tell him I said so from the bench. Michael Cohen will know what that means. Michael Cohen's a lawyer. He knows better. He knows what he's doing is wrong. And it could be impacting the case. And again, I'll look into that on that reading. But that's not for tonight. Tonight was the other thing they talked about, which was Allen Weisselberg. The judge wants to know how come the prosecution didn't subpoena Allen Weisselberg. And the prosecution said, well, he's a liar. He's in prison right now or jail for committing perjury. And the judge's like, but he's a key witness in this. You need to testify him. You can't. And they're like, well, he's just going to plead the fifth. And Judge Merchan's like, you don't know that. Let's call him in here. And I think they want to bring him in next week because, well, they're hoping to wrap up the trial next week for the prosecution. It's like, let's bring him next week. We'll interview him without the jury present and see how he plans on testifying. If he plans on pleading the fifth, we'll send him back to prison where he can go rot for the next few months and everything will be fine. But if he wants to testify, I think the jury should hear it. Now, mind you, one of the complications with this is that Allen Weisselberg signed a non-disclosure agreement with Trump.org. And this was part of his severance for $2 million. A nice hush money payment there, right? And part of it is that he's not allowed to voluntarily testify against Trump and Trump.org. And he's only been paid $1.25 million of the $2 million. So there's $750,000 left outstanding. And the prosecution's like, well, that's why he's not going to testify. Judge isn't moved. It's like, bring him in. So I want to read the energy around Allen Weisselberg. Will he testify if he's brought in, or is he just going to plead the fifth? If I had my guess on, he's going to plead the fifth. This guy's gone to prison twice for Trump now, and there's $750,000 with his name waiting on it if he just keeps his mouth shut. That's David's logical, intellectual mind talking. Now, maybe Allen Weisselberg has seen the light while in prison. Right now he's in prison for committing perjury. And maybe the $750,000 isn't enough for him on that one, and maybe Donald Trump should see the inside of a prison cell too. We'll see. Come on down. Let's see what the cards have to say. Allen Weisselberg. What's the energy around him and testifying? For entertainment purposes only. The Fool card. Starting a new journey. Or maybe doing something foolish. What's the cross going to be? Six of Swords. Going from choppy waters to calmer shores. He's already gone up the river for Trump. And the Ten of Swords, bringing things to an end. Well, my guess, it's one of two. Okay, so this can be interpreted a couple ways. It's very definitive interpretations, but it's pretty black and white. Either he's going to be like, I'm no fool. I served this perjury charge and I'm a free man. Because they promised that they wouldn't go after me anymore. This is the only time they're going to go after him for perjury charges. I served my few months in prison and I'm done. And I'll probably get off early for good behavior. That's what I think is going to happen. But there is a non-0% probability that he's like, I think I'm ready to turn over a new leaf. Maybe I'll get out of prison a little sooner if I give up the information about Trump. I'm less likely to believe that. But let's see how the cards factor in around here. Will he plead the fifth? Is kind of the question around this. But let's see how this goes. In the past, we have the Hanged Man. He has been the willing sacrifice. He's the one that said Trump didn't know anything. He's the one that ended up going to prison. He's the one that got a $2 million severance package along with a non-disclosure agreement. So they happily, they being the Trump org and Donald Trump in particular, happily threw him under the bus. Okay, that one's easy for me to interpret. Current situation is the Page of Cups. This is where Weisselberg he has a different set of values than the rest of us. He just might think, what, I've played this hand almost all the way through. I'm going to see it all the way through to the end. The other thing is, even if he does testify, who's going to believe him? Who's going to believe this liar with this cat hat and his fish cup? Because he'll tell you, even if he told you he has a fish in a cup and a cat hat, you can't believe him. He's already, like Michael Cohen, he's been convicted and sentenced to time in prison. And he's been found to have perjured himself. The only difference is that for Michael Cohen, there's an abundance of evidence in this case that is suggesting that Michael Cohen is telling the truth. With Allen Weisselberg, he has shown he's willing to lie for Trump, like Michael Cohen did. Michael Cohen's no longer willing to lie for Trump. Allen Weisselberg, so far, appears to be willing to lie for Trump multiple times. Will he continue? That's the question, right? But right now, lying liars gonna lie. That's what they do. Overarching energy is the King of Wands. Okay, so this could be like Alvin Bragg. This could be the court system, Judge Merchan, saying, okay, yeah, well, lying liars are gonna lie, but you still need to bring him in. We need to hear it from his mouth, what he's going to testify to. And here's the thing. Allen Weisselberg could plead the fifth, saying he signed a non-disclosure agreement, so he can't talk, in which case, there might be some litigation about that non-disclosure agreement. Or he could testify and then be found guilty of perjury again, and that would be different than the promise of not prosecuting him for other perjured statements that he did in previous cases. This would be a brand new case with brand new perjury if he were to lie. So what's left? Is Allen Weisselberg telling the truth or pleading the fifth? If he pleads the fifth, nothing's going to happen to him. If he tells the truth, maybe he gets out of jail early, gets out of prison early. But he'll do it to the tune of $750,000. The logic part of me says there is no way this guy is going to do anything other than plead the fifth. The lesson to be learned is the Lover's card. Yeah, he's made his bed with Trump. They'll give him the opportunity to redeem himself. I don't think he's going to take it. He's not the apple, he's the snake. You know what I mean? And then the outcome, interesting though, is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is known as the spy in the camp. That's what Allen Weisselberg is. He is the person who could, on one end he could say, yeah, Donald Trump was completely oblivious to all this. How interesting. He could say Donald Trump was completely oblivious to all this and try and convince the jury that, it all stopped with Allen Weisselberg. I think, though, with all the information that's come out, that's going to be far-fetched. Putting it bluntly, that's going to be far-fetched. And then you complicate that with the fact that he's already lied for Trump multiple times under oath and is serving perjury charges for that. He's just not going to be a credible witness if he tries to exonerate Trump. If he pleads the fifth, go back in jail. That's where you're going to be. If he tells the truth, if he's the actual spy and tells the truth as to what happens, he might still collect his $750,000 because I think, there could be litigation saying you still have to honor that. He was compelled to testify in a court of law. The NDA doesn't, overturn the, well, maybe it does. I think that would be a court battle that would have to be fought out. So if he does testify, it's because he's hoping to get out of prison earlier and that he'll still be able to collect his $750,000. Otherwise, he's not going to be a pigeon, a stool pigeon. He will just sit in his cage and rot because, well, he's already done that. And I think the DA in some ways I guess you know what it was. They said we won't convict you we won't pursue any more perjury charges if you plead guilty to this one. That's what the deal was. So he pled guilty. The DA is kind of honored bound to not hit him with new perjury charges. Now, there could be, or maybe is it perjury charges? I think it was just perjury. Maybe it's all charges with that case. I'm not sure. Maybe there's some other stuff they can nail him with. So if that's the case, they're going to have to strong arm his butt. Okay, so will the DA strong arm his butt? Is the DA, Alvin Bragg and his prosecutors, are they sitting on any evidence that they can leverage Alvin Bragg with? Either with a carrot, like we'll get you out of your sentence early, and we'll fight for you to get your $750,000 that's outstanding to you, or will they say, hey, we've got these other conspiracy charges or fraud charges or tax evasion charges, stuff like that they might hit him with. No, that's your stick. Let's see, what's the energy around the DA with Weisselberg? 2 of Wands. Well, the judge asked for it, and they're going to follow through with it because the judge asked for it. I don't think they really have a choice here. Heartbreak, betrayal. It doesn't matter what he tells them. They're not going to believe it. He's going to be just such a terrible witness. He's going to be a hostile witness. Page of Pentacles. They'll offer him something. They'll make some offering for it. Or this is just for him to talk about the money. This is just him to talk about paying Michael Cohen. Now, specifically, it was all they need all they need Allen Weisselberg to do is say, yes, those $45,000 a month charges to Michael Cohen were to get Michael Cohen reimbursed for the $130,000 that he paid Stormy Daniels. And we had to basically double the amount to count for the taxes. Because if they gave Michael Cohen $130,000, his tax bracket in New York would be about 50%. He'd only see $65,000 of it. So that $130,000 has to now be $260,000 for him to get his $130,000 back. Plus they threw a little extra in for him and stuff like that. That's pretty much how the math worked here. Okay? In the past is the Page of Cups. The guy's a liar. He's a liar and a perjurer. And he can't be trusted. The DA, the prosecutors do not trust him. Do not trust him at all. He's a liar and a perjurer, and he will lie and perjure again. Current situation is the Ace of Cups. I think maybe they're concerned that this witness will be prejudicial to the jury, that they're going to have some sympathy for some crazy old man who's sitting in jail, swearing up and down Donald Trump had nothing to do with this money. There's some concern. There's an emotional concern. There's an emotional component in here that they're afraid that this guy emotionally could be manipulating things. Or he could be under the emotional manipulations of Trump, which is why he can't be trusted. That makes a whole lot of sense, because who's filling this guy's cup but Trump and Trump Org? And this is the money stream, $500,000 each type of thing. The overarching energy is the Empress. This guy's been taken care of by Trump, and he's been taking care of Trump for decades. What, 40 years plus? They're just so close to each other. The lesson we learn is the Knight of Swords. Maybe they made an assumption that they should have made by not subpoenaing him and giving him an opportunity to do that. So now they have to kind of rush forward to see if they can get him to testify. And, will he continue to be a willing sacrifice? I think he'll still continue to be a willing sacrifice. At least that's what the district attorney is thinking. It doesn't matter if they grab him or not. They think that he's going to either plead the fifth or perjure again. Didn't see many coin cards in there, though. Nor did I see anything of an offer. Now, that Empress card could be, non-prosecution for other stuff, if they've got other stuff. But he needs to make his choice quickly. And if that's the case, then it could work out. It really just depends what the prosecution's holding on. If they've got an ace. Oh, maybe that's what that Ace of Cups is. They've got an ace up their sleeve. That, I wish I hadn't shuffled. I wish I hadn't taken those cards out. I think, okay, here you go. The prosecutors, let's take a look at that one again. You have the Ace of Cups up here. The prosecutors might have an ace up their sleeve. It's an emotional ace. The Empress is about his family. Something that they can do with his family. And then the Knight of Swords is something that can happen to his family quickly. So what was the outcome card again? The outcome card was the Hangman. Go ahead. You can sacrifice yourself for Trump, or you can take a new look on things. That's an interesting take. I almost like that better. When it hits me like that and I can explain it through, I think I like that. I think the prosecutors do have something, maybe something that they were saving for a rainy day, and this was not the rainy day they wanted to save it for. Or maybe it's something that they decided they weren't going to pursue because it's kind of dirty pool, but, prosecutors sometimes play dirty pool. Okay, what's Allen Weisselberg going to think about the prosecution's offer? If the prosecutor is holding a stick above him, what does Allen Weisselberg think about that stick? Again, entertainment purposes only. Knight of Cups. The offer, but is it a false friend offer? Allen Weisselberg's a false friend. Fighting from a position of advantage. So I think, they're like, you can just testify. There's not much you have to say. But the prosecutor's coming from advantage here. Of course, this could be Weisselberg because he can just plead the fifth. Ace of Swords underneath it. There's an offer. It's a justice offer. I think they do have something that they can hit his family with, and they're going from a position of advantage. He doesn't like that. In the past is the Wheel of Fortune, karma. Allen Weisselberg has voluntarily put himself on that wheel. It's the Wheel of Fortune. He wants to collect his $2 million, and he's over halfway there. And he doesn't want to lose that money. That money's very important to him. Current situation is the Moon card. He doesn't know what to do. I think he might actually be genuinely confused. Because if they are holding a stick over him, he may not He might want to testify. He might plead the fifth just to avoid the whole thing and just dare them to go after his family. Or he's just BS crazy. Given the fact that he's, perjured himself for Trump a couple of times, he may not be fully right in the mind here. Overarching energy. He wants his money, and he'll hold on to the information. Although this is a 4, to me, this is him pleading the fifth. This is him not wanting to do it. He does not want to do it. Right now, if you were to ask him, the answer is no. The lesson to be learned, yeah, I think they are revealing something that could involve his family and the happiness of his family here. It would be like, a full-on audit of all his finances and really going after his family hard and causing turmoil in his family. Just playing dirty pool. The district attorneys being the mafia in this case. Given an offer he can't refuse. The outcome is the 3 of Wands, and then you wait. Waiting for a ship to come in, waiting to testify maybe? He just might. He doesn't want to, though. I assure you, he doesn't want to. The question is, would he tell the truth or would he lie? So now, let's ask if he will testify. We've asked about the energy around it. Let's ask now if he will testify. That's why these readings take like 25 minutes to 30 minutes. The 5-minute intro didn't help on this one, but you had to get up to speed with things. Well, other than the fact that I spent 3 minutes talking about my wonderful vacation day today. But, I keep digging down in the question, and then there's more questions. Will he testify? Yeah, will he testify? I think a 4-carder would suffice to that. And then we'll ask if he testifies. We'll ask if he pleads the fifth. Will he testify? Since I keep asking that. The devil. There's your trump card right there. Agreements, contracts, bringing things down. There's that going away card again. And the Queen of Wands. Oh, I wonder if he's been in contact with Trump's attorneys. It's like Trump just has a spell over this guy. Will he testify? Got Trump as this thing. As much whatever the prosecutors have, Trump probably has more. He has dirt on him, and it's just easier if he goes quietly. This could be an agreement with the prosecutors. But his testimony could certainly bring Trump down. If he testified, he would bring Trump down. He absolutely would. There'd be no out for Trump. Now, let's look at that same thing again. But now, will we plead the fifth? Will we plead the fifth? If he does testify, and he's true, I guess there's the caveat, right? And he's truthful. Trump, that's the end. You almost don't need Michael Cohen at that point, but they won't have that before Michael Cohen's up there. Will he plead the fifth? Wheel of Fortune, taking that chance. Justice card, he's allowed to do that according to the law. The judge has to bring him in, see if he'll plead the fifth. King of Cups. Nothing they can do to compel him on that. And there's the Empress card. He'll be taken care of if he pleads the fifth. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 major arcana. And we had the 1. He's going to plead the fifth. He wants his money. He wants his money. He's going to take care of his family. He doesn't care. If the DA has something on him, go ahead. Go for it. He doesn't care. He wants his money. And that's the only reason. If there was a way to let him get paid, no, you know what? He's still going to plead the fifth. He's going to plead the fifth. That's my final answer. I'd like to call a friend. Where's Linda G? Oh, Mr. Weisselberg, you were a disappointment. Again, entertainment purposes only. What do I know? I'm just some random dude on the internet throwing tarot cards with some crazy cats bouncing around the house. Anyways, we'll end it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so that my video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. Glad you found us. I hope you find this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.